Hi everyone. So today we will cover very important topic of a software application. So especially this is this video is focused on new grads, or like if you are switching careers, how you can gain experience and understand what actually a business analyst doing day to day, and how you can clear your interview process using a um, simulated project. Okay, so that's the main um, purpose of this video. Okay, so this video going to be multiple videos. I'll record it different part of it, but let's understand what we are going to cover. So let's start with the beginning. So why we thought maybe this is useful for the new grads, so like um, non-experience, like you don't have any prior experience. So if you are advanced, if you are a BA already, you are working as a BA, if you are working on a project, so feel free to skip this video. Or like if you are planning to get into, or you have some sort of knowledge, maybe you are a project manager, or you are a test analyst, or like you are working in a gas station or a supermarket cashier, teller, part-time job, whatever, you are starting from scratch. You have no idea about what business analysts are doing, and what are the expected questions, how you can clear the interview, how your resume should look like, what you put on your LinkedIn page. So these are everything I going to cover in this video. And also every after explanation, there are 5 interview questions with answers. So we'll go through just to make our understand clear. Okay. So there is no technical thing will be discussed, but we are discussing technical concept here, like databases and other stuff, but there is no query or anything, just a business understanding. Like we are mainly focusing on what business analyst has to do and how to gather requirement, how to document these things. So that's our main focus. So it's a totally anyone can learn from this video. There is no prerequisite, or there is no technical background knowledge is required here. Okay, so let's get started. So many beginners. So I have uh, providing this video like a written book format, so that I will end up recording. I will upload this book. There are more than 100 pages there. So I will upload to GitHub. You can download this one. So that's I am using this as like a PPT. Okay. So many beginners learn business analysis, right? Because if you haven't worked in actual project, so you will be hearing some videos, so online documents, some other tutors or anyone saying that like you need experience, agile, scrum, user stories, Jira requirements, right? So yes, you need to know how these things you can do. I would consider this is your BA driving license, right? These are the basic things. You have to know how to do it, but there is no experience required, right? The experienced person also will write the same method, and the new person also will the write. So it's just need the practice. But as long as you have an understanding or idea, like a basic certification, or like practice, or like someone is mentoring, that's more than enough. So this is your basic license, like it's like a driving license. It's that you can learn, um, you can work in any project like agile or whatever, hybrid model or waterfall. That's not a problem. And you can attend meeting, you can work on a scrum environment, agile environment, right? And you should be able to write user stories or any other B artifact, like BRDs, like you can manage this one. And Jira, Confluence, and requirement gathering, these are basic things. Okay, but instead of, I would recommend you, instead of you go and chase this one like a definition or like a watch hours of video. Just take one practical use case, like a software development use case, and learn the product, learn the digital product, how the digital product is built, like mainly focus on STL, see how the software is built while you are learning or practicing that particular digital product. Try to apply those knowledge to learn this concept instead of, so you are doing the wrong thing now. You are learning agile, scrum, and user story and other stuff, but you are not learning the actual product. So my recommendation, your learning should be centric or focus should be um, the use case based or scenario based, whatever, right? Like focus on one digital product, and then you can connect the dot, like how this digital product is built in agile environment, how this digital product is built in a waterfall methodology, right? How this digital product, for this digital product, how the user stories be written, right? So that's how your learning should be if you are a new grad or like you are planning to enter as a business analyst. So this um, written ebook will give a good understanding, and also there are some exercises you can complete. Okay. So let's understand how business process works. That's the main thing you need to understand. And how manual work become digital. So why they need companies need business analysts. There are existing manual workflows. Those need to be converted into a digital solution. So who can understand the both side? What is the manual work? How it should be built in digital way? It's like a building a house, right? So think that way. House is your application or the digital product. So you are like a coordinator, right? The actual people who is building the house, those developers, our case, the person who is asked us to build or give the requirement of funding the project, that's a stakeholder. So if house analogy, the owner, right? Owner will tell, I need this much of rooms and this the color I need, and this so you work with the owner, house owner, and you get this drawing documents and provide to the actual mason, and they will start working on, right? Architect and other people, right? So same here, you are instead of house, you are building a software application, providing a digital solution to the existing manual workflow. So first, you're as a business analyst, you should be expert on these things, right? How the business process works. So you have to sit with them and see how they are manually doing the work, right? Before you write anything out. So job shadowing is very important. That's a very effective way. If anyone asking me to work in a big project, like it doesn't matter how many years you have experience, but project to project is different if you previously if you have not worked, right? So this is how I start. I will ask the business people, can I come and work with you, right? You don't need to deliver anything, like kind of a job shadowing, right? Like yes, I will until I understand the flow exactly what they're, because um, sometimes if you ask question from the business stakeholder, they can explain sometime, but they might miss something. But if you see from your eyes, and if you know, if you observe how they are doing, and you can take notes, you can write the steps, and you will not miss any requirement. So that's a beneficial. Job shadowing is a very effective way to understand the existing business workflow. So that's the second one. How software system process business rules, right? So after we collect information, the core background of application, what system has to do with this business rule, how data moves inside an application, how business analysts think during real projects. So these are covered in this one. Okay. So here, our main focus is just to get an idea how the digital product is built using one example. Okay. So we will be discussing, there are every software application. There are three layers. You need to understand these three layers. I will explain this three layer with a real world scenario. And I will explain the three layer with a digital solution. Same business problem or business case, how we can convert into application. Okay, so that is coming up. I'm just giving what we are going to discuss. Okay, so front end layer, this is the screen where the user is. It's like the door, right? For example, deposit check page, login page, registration page, loan application form, whatever the application you are accessing, you can see these pages. So that's the front end layer or user interface. The front end collect information from the user. So information is nothing but the data. Okay. Second one, business logic processing layer. Okay, so this is the core layer, the brain of the application. So after data information collected from the customer, this case from the user, the system evaluate business rules. Okay, so what is business rules? So business rule, like we are using a check deposit flow as an example for this one. Okay, so when check is deposited in a bank, right? The bank will verify whether this check date is valid or not, right? Like uh, I cannot deposit a check if the check is older than 6 months. I don't know. It's different countries. There are different rules, but in generic, like a check has a validity date, right? So if the validity expired, a check we call as a stale date check. Those checks will be not accepted. So those are rejected, declined. If the signature is available, right? So sometime fraudster can steal a check and write the amount, but there is no signature of the issuer, right? So those checks are not accepted, right? Amount entered correctly. We'll discuss this business rule in detail in the use case, okay? So these are some examples. So this layer process all decision making logic. So first layer, collect the check here, right? Deposit this one. Second layer, and run the business rule. Third layer is the database layer. So after processing, what we have to do here, what is the decision being made? So that we need to save somewhere for the future use, right? Because if a customer deposited a check, I don't know your country, but there will be a whole period. The check realization period is there, like a 7 days or 4 days or 3 business days. Amount will be released, right? And the hold amount, right? Like maybe if you're depositing $1,000 check, and the $200 will be immediately released, so $800 will be hold until the check is clear, right? So clearing period, customer notes, transaction history. So once the here step check deposit here in the front end, and business rules are evaluated in the back end, and once they evaluated, what happened to that transaction will be recorded in the database, right? So it's saying check deposit amount 1,000 and the whole limit is 200 for this customer. Only the whole limit is 200, so 200 will be deposited to customer account, 800 will be hold, and clearing period. If the check is deposited today, and from today 7 days will be calculated and the release date will be entered here. So the system is doing, no one is doing manually, just understand. Okay, so if there is note entered and the history and all the information, so there are three layers working together behind the scene like a human workflow to complete the transaction digital. Okay, so this is the real world example. Think like if imagine a customer walk into a bank branch to deposit a check. Okay, so the customer give a debit card or check or like whatever identification to pull the customer account on the computer, right? So what the teller does, open the customer profile, check the check manually. So the check should be manually scanned, or not scanning, how to tell, um, examination, right? Like the see if the check is meeting all the criteria, right? The first see if the check is valid. It's not a stale data. Whether signature is present, amount and words does match. There ask the customer to sign endorsement check. Is there any alteration? Pay information. All the teller will validate, right? So what teller is doing here, teller is manually processing the business rules. Who has provided this business rule? Is the teller is coming up? No, these are defined by the company, right? Like these are defined by the business owners, right? Like uh, if they introducing a product, each product has a business rule, right? Like these, okay, we cannot, if there is payee name means the name in the name, there is two name on in the check, like and is there John Doe and Jay. So John Doe and Jay both must be signed on the back of the check, endorse the check, right? So that's the rule, right? Those are business rules. So the teller has a checklist. Teller already know, trained teller know, or maybe it's somewhere is displayed on the computer. So teller is one by one he's ticking. So one is what he is ticking, he is manually processing the business rule, right? So if we are going to build a digital solution for this one, so we need to implement this business logic in the system, right? So what teller is verifying is everything is correct, right? Deposit is accepted to make a decision, right? Partial fund may be released, remaining amount held for clearing, notes added. We discuss the same thing in the digital workflow, right? So here the detail is this is the digital. Now imagine converting the same manual process into software, right? How to build a software, right? The first step, the user interface, right? What customer sees, that's the user interface. Sorry, we create a check deposit page with upload front image, right? Upload the back image, amount field, like amount custom. Even though amount is present on the check, but we are asking customer to enter the amount, deposit button or submit button, whatever is applicable. So here it's like your teller here. Our first step, customer come to the branch and hand over the check, open the file and hand over the check to teller, right? The teller verify this one. Those are three steps. So step one, hand overing the check, right? So that's what we are digitally building. That's the user interface. Who is doing? Customer is doing on behalf of the teller, right? So step two, now remember our teller verify this one manually. So we have to enforce the system also. Once the check in user click, customer click the submit button or deposit button, system has to validate this one. System should check the signature amount or whatever the business. So this we call as, you can hear business logic, rule engine, processing layer. Different company has different terminologies, but it's the same thing. So we can keep the for the consistency, we can use business logic, okay, during this. So the third step, same like the teller noted all the results, right? What we have to do with this check. So here also in digital flow also, this is stored in the database, okay. Okay, so many interview questions, why this is important, you should know. Many interview questions are built around business workflow like this, right? So when you go to interview, they will ask scenario-based questions because they are hiring a BA for a project, right? They are not hiring a BA for just, they need a BA for a team. No, because team are working with all the IT teams are working on product based, like if it is a onboarding team, they are handling onboarding. If it's a payment team, they are handling payment. Some companies are there, like there are no multiple teams, only one team, but big IT companies, they have different team for different product for the, because those people are expert or like SMEs, they have some background knowledge on those products, right? So that's why when they publish a job posting, they're asking, do you have experience for particular domain, right? Payments, cards, or insurance, HR, or medicine, or whatever pharmaceutical knowledge, whatever the domain they're asking. So that's why they need specific people with those knowledge. Okay. So first you need to understand the manual process, digital workflow, front end, business logic, database flow, validation, system behavior. So if you can answer these things, and you'll get the job. Okay, so you can speak during the interview very confident. You don't need to actually work on a project to learn this one. So you should have a clear understanding as a new business analyst before you go to interview. You should understand this one, because the person who is interviewing, they are working, they worked many years, 10-15 years, work on these kind of things. They know what actually, if you, when you answer, they know whether you worked on a project or you're simply coming with the answer, right? So you have to be honest, like you have to mention this a mock project, so that they will be happy, right? They know you can make mistakes, but you can give the clear idea. You can deliver the message. They know you are you didn't previously work on an actual project. This is the mock project, academic project you completed through a course or like YouTube or like other free learning sources. But you know the idea, right? So no one is expecting you should be a SME or perfect person. As long as you can explain the idea, like this is what I did, this is my understanding, right? So they can understand, right? They will give opportunity if there is no big competition or like um, on the particular job. Okay, so keep in mind and give the best shot. Like try to make a justification, right? Like you don't go to an interview without preparing their business workflow and these details. Okay. Okay, I'll just skip this one. So we'll have some how we are focusing to learn how the software application work, how the business rule processed, and how to convert manual workflow into digital system. Business analysts gather requirement, how to write user story, think like a BA during project. One use case only. So here it's a banking workflows. We are going to use only one workflow, which is the check deposit, and we'll prepare some mock interviews. Questions are there, and also we'll create a sample resume which is suitable for this use case, and also we'll discuss how you can share this detail on your LinkedIn page also. Okay, and also, yeah, that's it. So let's keep these things, nothing much. Okay, so this is good for new grad, career switches, not technical people, entrance students, beginner entering IT. Pretty much you don't have previous experience, you try to get into IT role through a business analyst role. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to the what are the sections we are going to cover, right? Introduction to business analysis. Like I will give a clear idea through this project. What is business analysis? What the business analyst has to do in a project? Um, Problem, understand the problem, workflow, manual versus digital. Okay, so like we discussed previously in the introduction. So here you will learn how companies think, right? So we are doing a reverse engineering. How projects start, why business analysts are important. Okay, so there are 5 questions and answers we can practice. So second module will jump into the software application architecture. So here we'll cover front-end layer, back-end layer, business logic, no coding here. Okay, don't worry, there's no query or anything. We will just understand the product, how it's working. Okay, so database storage, API integration, data flow inside application. So again, I'm saying there is no coding or actual testing here. So as a business analyst, how you can understand these components. Okay. So we'll use the example of check deposit flow, and you will learn how software system work, how data moves between layers, how application process business rules. Okay, we have question. Module 3, we'll move on to business rules and logic. What are the business rules? What is business logic and manual validation? Okay, so I'll not go to the detail when these modules are discussed. So we will go so here you will learn how organizations create rules, how system evaluate rules, how BAs are document validation. Module 4, we are planning to discuss converting manual process into digital workflow. So you will learn here process mapping, workflow analysis, requirement thinking. Okay. Module 5, we'll discuss front-end requirement gathering. You will learn how a BA discuss front-end requirements, how UI, user interface requirements are documented. And module 6, we move from UI to backend and business logic requirement. And you will be expected outcome backend requirement writing, logic-based requirement analysis. Number 7, database and data storage concepts, and you will learn how applications save information, how BAs think about the data storage. User stories and acceptance criteria. You will learn how to write professional user stories, how to create testable requirements. Okay. Um, Module 9, Agile Scrum and the project. We will discuss here how Agile team work, how BAs participate in the project. Some ceremonies and the teams, who are the teams involved here. Okay. Then finally, we'll move into mock business analyst interviews, and we'll discuss HR rounds, like how to answer confidently, how to explain project professionally, the project we are going to. So next, we'll create a sample resume and LinkedIn page preparation. So sample B resume, beginner project example, how you can list your project in your on your resume, professional summary guidance here, and real BA job posting analysis. So just to get an idea. Okay. That's it. Okay. Okay, so now let's get started the module number 1. Okay, so chapter 1, what is business analysis? So business analysis, you know what business analysis is doing. First, the business, there is a workflow or manual workflow, or there is a enhancement or maintenance required that business, right? So what business analyst doing? Business analyst, the process of understanding business problem and helping organize build solution, digital solutions. Okay, that's the business. A business analyst acts between bridge between business teams, customers, developers, testers, and project managers. So the business analyst help convert business need into software requirement, right? So main idea is like think about that building a house analogy, right? You are like a coordinator. Here we are, instead of house, we are building software, and you talk to the customer, like whoever wants need this end user of this software. You are asking the business owner, hey, how do you want to look like? What functionality you need? You get the requirement, right, in the business terms, and those requirement will be converted into a system requirement by you. Okay, so that's the work you have to do. So this real world example, we already talked about this one. So here the problem is, let's understand the problem, why we need to build a digital solution. Customer depositing a check in the branch instead of online. Okay, so the bank has a business problem, too many customers visiting branch, long waiting times, manual check processing. So the business analyst studies current, how the business analyst can convert, or how business analyst can gather requirements for this particular use case. Business analyst has to understand the current process, customer pain points, tailor workflow, business rules, software requirements. So then the BA help create the digital solution, right? So the main responsibility of a business analyst mainly understand the business problem, gather requirement, analyze workflows, document business rules, communicate with teams, and support software directly. So BA does not code again. So instead of BA help the teams to understand the requirement. Okay. So these are some domains you can Google it and see, like when you're applying jobs. So you have to be a domain specific BA, then only you will get a, even though there is no experience, you will get the success rate is more. If you are applying, I'm a new business analyst, new student, and you never get a call. So you have to be SME or like experience, gain some mock project or simulated project using particular application. So here, online banking, loan application, because these are pretty much you can do. You don't need a actual project, right? Like if you do online banking, and you can master it if you open multiple accounts, right? So opening account, I don't think so any country will charge you. So you can open or register yourself and document the process. So that's become online banking for you, right? Loan application, you can also practice this one, call a couple of branch or like investigate What are the different type of application, loan application there, personal loan, home loan, car loan, education loans, and how these screens look like, what data being captured, and what information stored in the backend. Check deposit system, we are going to discuss this one. Fraud detection, I'll make separate video about this one. Customer onboarding, we have been talking this example, but I am planning to make some different videos for customer on payment system. We'll handle this one also. Investment platform also, we'll make a separate video. Okay. So understanding the manual versus digital, that's the next step. Okay, so what's happening at the manual? So we already discussed customer deposit the check, teller validate the business rules and update the system. So digital flow also, we already discussed this one. So first we'll understand this is a BA thinking, right? What customer is doing here. So customer hand overing the checks to the teller visually examine and enter into the system. So we need to, when we are creating a self-service system, we need to understand this functionality, right? So what we need to collect the check somehow, right? So here we need to collect the check image. So we have to provide an option to customer to upload the check. So that's upload the check. And we are enforcing the customer to enter the amount as well. So here the amount, and next one the submit or deposit button. So system has to validate this one. That's a digital flow, and save the result in the database. Okay. So why we need a business analyst? Because if we don't have a business analyst, developers may build wrong feature because there is no documentation, right? So requirement may be unclear and customer become unhappy. Like if the feature is, there are multiple players in online, there are so many competitors, right? If the system is taking more than 3 seconds, customer will leave the business, right? So that's why very important when we are building online solution, it should be more user friendly. We need to understand what user is required. So that can be understood by the business analyst, right? Project may fail, business will be missed also. So business analyst reduce confusion between business team and the technical teams. So required skills here to become a business analyst, you don't need to become a programmer. Having a programming knowledge, that should be good, but it's not mandatory. But you should learn communication skills because because you have to work with human, right? Like you have to work with different people. So your clear communication should be very, very important. Because why I'm highlighting here, you cannot talk to a developer in the base. You can still explain, but developer has different understanding about the requirement. So when you talk to a business audience, you have to change your terminology. Maybe you are talking to ML people and you have to send emails and everything in their terminology. So different groups, different audience. So you have to master it, your communication skills here, writing and when you are speaking also. Okay. And also requirement gathering. So requirement gathering, you can use different techniques based on your project and the availability. So main important, you should understand the current workflow, right? Business thinking, documentation, agile methodology, user story, problem solving. Okay. So these are the main skills you need. How business analysts think. Here are some questions checklist you can ask, you can prepare. What is the business problem? So any project, any enhancement, so you can cross your tick your checklist. What's the problem we are trying to, even you don't need to ask, like you can during the meeting you try to find the answer for this one, right? What's the business problem here we are discussing, right? What process we are improving, right? Like why we need to do the manual process is working only, the time consuming, there is more resource required. So why we need to improve, right? What data is required? So like data means what information we need to collect from the customer, that's the data. What validation are needed, like these are the business logic we are talking about. What happens if validation fail, like if cannot validate, system not available, exception cases, what we need to do, what should the system store, right? What should users see, right, after decision being made, or if the system is not working, fraudulent things, what we have to tell to the business. So these things thinking process is very important in interviews, right? So these are the examples you can share. How tell me a challenge you faced during your um, actual project, right? To tell exception handling scenarios you worked on, something validation fail, what will happen, right? So you have to remember these. This is kind of your checklist, okay? What software application thinking here? First step, almost every application collect data. Like when you go to a physical location, they will collect data from you. They will ask, hey, can I get your name or phone number to pull your profile? When you call a call center, they will ask your verify details. So everywhere, manual flow, digital flow, collect data, collect information first step to hook you, like bring up your profile, right? So front end collect information, right? You can relate this one, right? So for our use case, we need upload image and enter the check amount and submit, right? Second step, business rule, right? Um, once your profile is open, or like once you submit the check and validate business. Third step, store the result, okay? So here, more detail, business analyst will define what screen is needed, right? Like you are not creating design, like you will define like, okay, these are the functionality. We need to provide a space to upload the check. Like we need two uploads. And what is the max MBs we can accept, right? What is the length, width, and height, and those things to be discussed, right? What business rules run, what if the validation fail, what will happen, right? What messages users should see, what information should be stored, right? So business analysis, we are using common tools like Jira, Confluence, Excel, Visio, Lucidchart, and SQL, Microsoft Team. So these are just generic, but pretty much if you know how to work with Jira and Excel, and you are good to go. Okay. Beginner mistake you are doing, like as we discussed, instead of your learning definitions, take one use case and prepare for prepare your resume, how your resume looks like, and how you can prepare. Look for interview questions so you can get an idea what actually required. Then you have to take a use case which you are familiar, and based on that you can build a few interview questions and create mock projects and while you are applying. So that's the point. So let's understand we reach out to our um, end of the module one. So let's test our knowledge here, okay? So module one, interview questions and answers. What is the role of a business analyst? So here, business analyst help organization understand business problem and convert business needs into software requirement, right? So this is very important. Convert business needs into software requirement. So the BA act bridge between business team and technical, pretty much you are hearing, and by gathering requirements, analyzing workflows, documenting business rules, and supporting. So here you are saying what business analyst is doing, who is the business analyst, and what task business analyst has to do. Okay. I hope this is clear for you. Let's move on to the second question. What is the difference between manual process and digital process, right? In manual process, beings perform validation and decision making manually. You are seen when customer come to a branch, what teller has to do, right? In a digital process, software application automate validation, business rules, and workflow processing. For example, a teller manually validates check in a branch, right? While mobile banking application validates the check automatically using the system logic. Okay. Why are business analysts important in software projects? Business analysts help teams clearly understand business requirements. They reduce confusion between stakeholders and developers, improve communication, document workflows, and ensure the correct solution is built according to the business, right? Um, Next question, explain three major layers of the software application. Most software application work three layers: front end, business logic, database layer. Okay, so you can Sometimes if they ask two, you can use two, which is front end and the back end. Back end includes business logic and the database layer. Okay. So front end, our application collects check detail, back end validates check rules, and database store the information. So do business analysts need coding knowledge? Not required, right? So you don't need, but you can you have to know some system workflows, API, database testing, how this is working. Application architecture is helpful, like a microservice or monolith, for communicating with technical teams and understanding the more you know about the labeling, it's easy to discuss. Okay. So module 1 summary, what you have learned, the business analysis, what business analysis means, how business analysts support projects, how manual workflows become digital, how software applications work, and why business logic is important. Okay. So I'll see you guys with the module 2, understanding the software application architecture, in a different video. Okay. I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks everyone.